Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with blog2watch.com. Please subscribe to Blog to Watch videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Bell Ross BR01-94 Pro Titanium Carbon Fiber. Whew, long name. This is a very rare version of the BR1 because it has this unique, what they call the Pro style case. The BR1 has a more subdued case. In fact, I have one over here that I'm going to review next. So pretend you didn't see this, but over here you have the regular BR1 case. And you'll notice, obviously, that they are the same size, but the Pro is taller, has this more interesting looking bezel structure, and is you know, I don't want to say more modern, but that's kind of the idea, because you have this dial, you have the more sort of classic looking dial here of the original BR1, and you have the more modern look, not only of the case, but of the dial and the Pro. And we'll see you later. Anyways, moving on. The Pro came in a lot of different variants. Well, not a lot, a few. This one had, like I said, the carbon fiber dial. It's a chronograph. There's also a three-hand version. There's a version with a sort of more of a gray dial with a gray rubber strap. And when these came out a few years ago, I particularly enjoyed the design of it. I thought it was cool to have something that was more modern military style. I don't necessarily know if the carbon fiber is necessary by today's standards, but I know why they did it. Just imagine for a second, same exact dial, but without the carbon fiber. It's going to be a little bit sparse. Those sort of modern looking numerals and hands and hour markers, even though they're applied and even though there's a bit of three-dimensionality, just aren't going to look as cool and impressive without that textured background. And what kind of textured background is more appropriate in a lot of instances? Carbon fiber. I mean, there's really not that much more unless they wanted to get a little bit creative. Carbon fiber is cool, it's easy, it's one sheet, it sort of has a built-in texture to it. And on a model like this, you have obviously a lot of preserved legibility. One of the issues in the past with carbon fiber has been, as you can see here, it's reflective and things will get washed out a little bit. So for example, you have here in the subsidiary seconds hand just a regular steel hand, which in certain lights you can't even see. The chronograph hands are white and you can see those just fine, but this one you can't, and that's a good example of what happens on certain carbon fiber dials, even though it's not actually against carbon fiber. But the polishing on that subsidiary dial there is very similar to what you would see. The case is cool, and even though it is thicker, it's not significantly bigger, I would say. Because this model is in titanium, it's not that heavy, but it's not as light as some other titanium models. The BR1 case is actually quite complicated, and inside of it, there's a lot of metal going on, so I can understand why these are heavier. But like I was saying, comparatively speaking, you know, the BR1 case, of course, is heavier, even though it's in steel, but it is smaller. So even though it's bigger than the normal BR1, but it is lighter. I do like the chronograph pushers, how they're sort of long and flat like that. I think that's nice. Inside this watch is a Swiss ETA 2894 chronograph with the date, and there's a lot of luminance here. I don't know if you can. This is not the time for a lume test. Oh, I haven't put the watch on yet. Got so excited talking about carbon fiber. I don't even really like carbon fiber that much, but it is a popular material, and I like to discuss how, from a design perspective, it's used. Very much a different look compared to the BR1 that you might be used to. But definitely interesting. The case is cool. The case is probably my favorite part. And I do like the dial. It stands out. It's definitely a whole new type of way of appreciating the BR1 while not being the old BR1, but being something fresh and interesting. As I said, these BR1 Pro cases and dials are pretty rare, but you can find them, and they're quite interesting. The retail price for this version, let me check my little cheat sheet here, is $7,500, and you can see the full review on a Blog2Watch. Thanks.